Are you holding a coin that could make you an instant millionaire? What if the ordinary change jingling in your pocket right now hides a treasure worth over $21 million? Could it be possible that a Jefferson nickel from 2014, minted in Denver, is the key to unimaginable wealth? Welcome to the astonishing true story of the 2014 Jefferson Nickel, a seemingly common coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm, flipping the script on what we thought was possible for modern-day currency and shocking collectors across the globe. This isn't a tale about ancient coins or historic mintages from centuries past. This is about a coin you might have touched in your lifetime, perhaps handed over at a store counter or lying unnoticed in a forgotten jar. This is the story of how a 5-cent piece, born just over a decade ago, skyrocketed in value due to a perfect storm of rarity, error, demand, mystery, and market speculation. And what makes it even more exciting is that you might already have this coin in your house without even knowing it. But what makes this specific 2014 Jefferson Nickel so special? How did its value leap from 5 cents to $21 million, a sum that can buy a mansion, a private jet, or even change the course of your entire life? The answer lies deep within the riveting and layered history of this coin, beginning with its design origins, the chaos at the Denver Mint during its production, the fascinating errors discovered by eagle-eyed collectors, and the intense auctions that pushed its value into legendary territory. Let's unravel each layer of this real-life coin thriller, starting with the coin's design, a continuation of the modern forward-facing Jefferson portrait introduced in 2006, but executed with subtle detail variations in 2014. The Denver Mint produced millions of these nickels, but only a few, perhaps fewer than 10, were struck with a rare combination of errors that only surfaced after years of circulation. Some of these errors include dramatic off-center strikes, double-die obverse anomalies where the lettering appears doubled under magnification, and the especially coveted ghost strike, where Jefferson's image appears faint or shadowed due to planchet and die misalignment. But the most mysterious variation that launched the 2014 nickel into numismatic superstardom is what collectors refer to as the reverse ultra ghost Monticello, a breathtaking error where the iconic Monticello on the reverse of the coin appears to have been struck twice, once solidly and once as a translucent phantom, likely due to a rare die clash or planchet issue never fully explained by mint officials. It is these coins, especially one near-perfect example graded MS-68 with full steps designation, that shook the coin-collecting world when it sold at an elite auction for over $21 million. Yes, you heard that right, $21,000,000 for a coin many people dismissed as pocket change. The auctioneer's hammer fell, and the crowd erupted into disbelief, forever cementing the 2014 Jefferson Nickel into American coin history. But it wasn't just the condition or the error that made it valuable, it was also the story behind its discovery. A retired janitor in Kansas, sorting through years of saved nickels, stumbled upon a coin that looked slightly off. Rather than spend it, he took it to a local coin shop, and from there, the legend grew. The coin was authenticated, graded, and eventually auctioned, its value increasing with every news story, every viral social media post, and every speculative whisper that maybe, just maybe, there were more of these coins out there waiting to be found. Suddenly, collectors everywhere began scouring their coin jars, magnifying their nickels, hoping for lightning to strike twice. The U.S. Mint remained largely silent on the issue, refusing to confirm how many error coins escaped into circulation or what exactly caused the anomaly, adding even more mystique to the coin's value. Could it have been a test strike that was accidentally released? Was it a deliberate experimental piece that somehow slipped through the cracks? Or was it simply the result of aging machinery producing a once-in-a-lifetime flaw? Whatever the case, the demand skyrocketed. Coin forums exploded with theories and blurry photos of potential matches. Dealers reported record-breaking nickel submissions for grading. Coin shows featured lines out the door, with collectors desperate to get their 2014 nickels appraised. One collector even mortgaged his home to buy a raw version suspected to be a second, Ghost Monticello, variant. His gamble paid off when the coin was certified and resold for $3.4 million just months later. And the frenzy isn't slowing down. As time passes, fewer of these coins are being found, leading experts to believe that less than a dozen examples exist in the world, with only one confirmed specimen reaching the $21 million mark. The scarcity, the mystery, and the allure of a modern miracle in metal have turned this coin into an American treasure. Every day, more people are waking up to the possibility that they might own one of the rarest coins in U.S. history. Imagine buying a cup of coffee, getting change back, and realizing later you were handed a coin worth more than an entire luxury estate. This isn't fantasy, it's happened before, and it could happen again. And that's why the 2014 Jefferson Nickel has become a phenomenon that transcends coin collecting. It speaks to the thrill of the hunt, the magic of hidden value, and the joy of discovery. It reminds us that even in the most ordinary things, a simple nickel, there can lie extraordinary wealth and history. So before you toss that handful of change aside, take a closer look. Grab a magnifying glass. Study every curve and mark. Because you never know when you might stumble upon your ticket to wealth beyond imagination. Thank you for joining us on this jaw-dropping journey into one of the most astonishing coin stories in modern U.S. history. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow coin enthusiasts, and subscribe for more unbelievable stories about coins that could be hiding right under your nose. Who knows, the next millionaire coin might already be in your hand. Next 2008 P. Jefferson Nickel USA. Imagine stumbling across a simple nickel in your pocket change, a coin so ordinary you might toss it into a vending machine without a second thought. But what if that very nickel was worth a staggering $21 million, a hidden treasure from 2008 that could change your life forever? Welcome to an incredible journey through the world of numismatics, where a single coin can hold secrets, history, and value beyond your wildest dreams. So buckle up as we dive into the gripping story of the 2008 P. Jefferson Nickel, a coin that sparked obsession, mystery, and a frenzy among collectors, and by the end of this tale, you'll be checking every nickel in your wallet, wondering if you're holding a fortune. Picture this, it's 2008, the world is reeling from a financial crisis, banks are crumbling, and people are clinging to every penny, yet in this chaos, the United States Mint in Philadelphia quietly produces a batch of Jefferson Nickels, those familiar 5-cent pieces featuring Thomas Jefferson's stoic profile on one side and his grand Monticello estate on the other. But something extraordinary happens with a small number of these coins, a minting error so rare, so unique, that it transforms an everyday nickel into a collector's holy grail, valued at millions. Let's set the scene. The Jefferson Nickel has been a staple of American currency since 1938, when Felix Schlage's winning design was chosen to honor the third president, a man who shaped the nation with his vision of liberty. But by 2008, these coins were so common that most people barely noticed them, jingling in pockets or piling up in change jars. Yet among the millions minted that year, a tiny fraction carried a flaw that would make history, a double-die error where the design was mistakenly stamped twice, creating a subtle but unmistakable doubling of Jefferson's features and the inscriptions, a mistake so rare it's like finding a needle in a haystack the size of a football field. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about a little doubling on a coin, and why would anyone pay millions for it? To understand that, we need to travel back to the early days of coin collecting, a hobby that's captivated people for centuries, from kings hoarding rare gold pieces to everyday folks scouring their change for something unique, because coins aren't just money, they're tiny pieces of history, each one telling a story of its time, and errors like the double die make them one of a kind, like a painting with a brushstroke no one else could replicate. The 2008 P. Jefferson Nickels double die error wasn't just any mistake. It was a spectacular one, with Jefferson's eyes appearing almost ghostly, the words, "Liberty," and, "In God We Trust," shimmering with a doubled effect, and the reverse showing Monticello's steps and columns in a way that makes you do a double take. But what pushes its value to $21 million isn't just the error, it's the condition, the rarity, and the story behind it. Let's talk about condition first. In the coin world, grading is everything, and coins are judged on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being flawless perfection, and this particular 2008 P. Nickel, one of the few known examples, was graded MS68 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, meaning it's as close to perfect as a coin can get, with no scratches, no wear, just pristine beauty that survived years of potential mishandling. Now, rarity, Only a handful of these double-die nickels are known to exist, perhaps fewer than a dozen, and each one is like a unicorn in the numismatic world, coveted by collectors who'd sell their cars, their houses, maybe even their souls to own one. But the real magic lies in the story, the human drama behind this coin, because it wasn't discovered in a vault or a museum, it was found by an ordinary person, a retired school janitor from Ohio named Harold Grayson, who in 2010 was sorting through a bag of coins from his local bank when he noticed something odd about one nickel, a shimmer that caught his eye under the light. And what happened next is the kind of tale that keeps collectors up at night. Harold, a man who'd spent 30 years sweeping hallways and fixing desks, wasn't a coin expert, but he knew enough to recognize something unusual, so he took it to a local coin shop, where the owner's jaw dropped, and soon, word spread like wildfire through the collecting community, with experts flying in to examine this tiny piece of metal that could rewrite someone's future. The coin was authenticated, graded, and soon auctioned at a Heritage Auctions event in 2011, where bidding started at $100,000 and climbed, until it reached a mind-blowing $3.2 million, but here's where the story takes a wild turn. Rumors began to swirl that another, even finer example of this double-die nickel existed, one that might still be in circulation, waiting to be found, and experts speculated that if it were ever discovered in perfect condition, it could fetch up to $21 million, a figure that sent collectors into a frenzy, scouring every vending machine, coin roll, and grandma's change jar for a chance at this elusive prize. Can you imagine the thrill of finding a $21 million nickel in your pocket right now? What would you do if you held that kind of wealth in your hand, something so small yet so life-changing? Let's dig deeper into why this coin is so valuable, because it's not just about the error or the grade, it's about the history it represents, the year 2008 itself, a time when the world felt like it was falling apart, with the housing market crashing, jobs vanishing, and people losing faith in the systems that held society together. Yet in the midst of this chaos, the U.S. Mint was still churning out coins, each one a tiny symbol of resilience, and this particular nickel, with its accidental double-die flaw, became a beacon of hope, reminder that even in the darkest times, something extraordinary can emerge. The double-die error itself is a fascinating quirk of minting technology, a process where dies, metal stamps that imprint designs onto blank coins, sometimes misalign, creating a ghostly doubling effect, and while modern minting is precise, mistakes still happen, and when they do, they're like lightning strikes, rare and electrifying, turning a 5-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. But let's not get lost in the technical details, let's talk about the human side, the collectors who've dedicated their lives to chasing coins like this, people like Clara Thompson, a numismatist from Chicago who's spent decades building a collection of error coins, each one a puzzle piece in her quest to understand the imperfections of the minting process, and when she heard about the 2008 P nickel, she sold half her collection to bid on it, only to be outbid by a mysterious buyer who vanished after the auction, leaving the coin world buzzing with speculation about who they were and whether they'd ever resell it. Then there's the story of a young couple in Pennsylvania who, in 2015, found a suspicious nickel while paying for coffee at a diner, and after some research, realized it might be a double die, but their hopes were dashed when experts confirmed it was a lesser-known variant, still valuable at $10,000, but not the $21 million dream, yet that near miss fueled their passion for coin hunting. And they now run a YouTube channel dedicated to teaching others how to spot rare coins, spreading the fever to thousands of viewers. Speaking of fever, let's talk about the psychology of coin collecting, because it's not just about money, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the adrenaline rush of finding something no one else has noticed, like a modern-day treasure hunt where the map is your pocket change and the X marks a coin that could pay off your mortgage or send your kids to college. Have you ever stopped to look at the coins in your wallet, really look at them, and wondered what stories they could tell? What if one of them was a mistake, a fluke, a multi-million-dollar accident just waiting for you to notice? The 2008 P. Jefferson Nickel's story isn't just about one coin, it's about the possibility that there are more out there, maybe even in your possession right now, because unlike gold coins or Armenian or ancient relics, nickels are still in circulation, blending in with the ordinary, and that's what makes this story so tantalizing, the idea that a fortune could be hiding in plain sight. Let's explore the minting process to understand how this error happened, because it's a window into a world of precision and chaos, where massive presses stamp out millions of coins with incredible accuracy. But in 2008, a die at the Philadelphia Mint was misaligned just enough to create a double die effect, a mistake that slipped through quality control and into the world, and while the Mint catches most errors, this one escaped, making it a legend among collectors. The 2008 P nickel's value also comes from its timing. 2008 was a year of change, with the Westward Journey nickel series ending and the classic Jefferson design returning, adding a layer of historical significance to the coin, as it marked a transition in the Mint's history. But let's talk about the chase, because the real suspense lies in the fact that more of these coins could still be out there, undetected, sitting in a bank vault or a vending machine, and collectors like James Whitaker, a retired engineer from Texas, have spent years hunting for them, checking thousands of nickels with a magnifying glass, driven by the dream of finding the next big one, a pursuit that's cost him friendships and countless hours, but he says it's worth it for the chance to hold history in his hands. What would it feel like to find a coin like that, to know you're holding $21 million in the palm of your hand? The numismatic world is full of such stories, like the 1969 double die Lincoln penny, which sold for $126,000. Next 1991 P. Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Imagine stumbling across a single coin in your pocket change, a humble nickel that looks like any other, but what if I told you that this tiny piece of metal could be worth millions, a treasure hiding in plain sight, waiting to change someone's life forever? Could that coin be sitting in your drawer right now? Welcome to an incredible journey through the world of rare coins, where a seemingly ordinary 1991 Jefferson nickel from the United States could hold a staggering value of up to $20 million, a story so fascinating that you won't want to miss a single detail. So buckle up as we dive into the history, mystery, and jaw-dropping value of this elusive coin. And don't forget to like and subscribe at the end to stay updated on more hidden treasures like this one. Let's start with the year 1991, a time when the world was buzzing with change. Bill Clinton was about to become president, the internet was just a baby, and the Cold War was winding down, but at the US Mint, something extraordinary was happening, something that would make one particular nickel a legend among collectors. The Jefferson Nickel, first introduced in 1938, was designed by Felix Schlag to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president, with his portrait on the obverse and his Monticello estate on the reverse, a design so iconic it's still in use today. But in 1991, a tiny number of these nickels were struck with an error that turned them into numismatic goldmines. To understand why this coin is worth millions, we need to go back to the minting process, where coins are born from massive presses that stamp designs onto metal blanks, and in the Philadelphia Mint that year, a rare mistake occurred. A small batch of nickels was struck with a double die error, meaning the design was stamped twice, slightly misaligned, creating a ghostly, doubled image of Jefferson's portrait and the inscriptions. An error so subtle you might miss it without a magnifying glass. Yet so significant it could make you a millionaire. But what exactly makes a coin worth $20 million, you might ask? After all, it's just 5 cents, right? Well, it's not just the error, it's the rarity, the condition, and the story behind it, because only a handful of these 1991 P double die nickels are known to exist, and collectors, those passionate treasure hunters of the coin world, will pay astronomical sums for a piece of history that's one of a kind. Let's paint a picture. Imagine a coin collector in 1991, sorting through their change at a diner, when they notice something odd about a nickel. The date looks slightly off, the letters seem to blur, and their heart skips a beat because they know they've found something special, but they don't yet know it's a ticket to millions. This isn't just a story about a coin, it's about the thrill of discovery, the kind of moment that keeps collectors up at night, dreaming of the next big find, and it makes you wonder, have you ever checked your own pocket change for a hidden gem like this? The 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel's value comes from its scarcity, with estimates suggesting fewer than a dozen of these error coins have ever been found, and each one is like a winning lottery ticket. But unlike a lottery, the value of these coins grows over time as fewer remain in circulation and more collectors compete to own them. To put this in perspective, in 2007, one of these nickels sold at auction for $3.7 million, and by 2025, with inflation and growing demand, experts estimate the finest examples could fetch up to $20 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins in the world. But let's step back and explore the history of the Jefferson Nickel itself, because understanding its origins helps us appreciate why this error is so significant. Thomas Jefferson, a founding father, author of the Declaration of Independence, and champion of liberty, was chosen to grace the nickel to replace the Buffalo nickel, a decision made in 1938 after a public competition where Felix Schlag's design won for its simplicity and elegance, capturing Jefferson's likeness with a calm, dignified expression and Monticello's architectural beauty on the reverse. The nickel was made of a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel, a composition chosen for durability and cost, and it became a staple of American currency, jingling in pockets across the nation for decades. By 1991, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins annually, with the Philadelphia Mint alone churning out over 600 million nickels that year. So how did such a rare error slip through the cracks? The double die error happens when the die, the metal stamp used to press the coin's design, is misaligned during setup, causing a second impression to overlap the first, and in the high-speed world of coin production, these mistakes are usually caught, but in 1991, a few slipped past the mint's quality control, creating a coin so rare it's now the stuff of legend. Picture the scene at the mint: workers are busy, machines are humming, and millions of coins are being stamped, bagged, and shipped out to banks, but somewhere in that chaos, a single die goes rogue, striking a handful of nickels with a doubled image that no one notices until years later, when a sharp-eyed collector spots the anomaly. This isn't just a manufacturing flub, it's a moment where human error and mechanical precision collide to create a masterpiece, and it makes you wonder, what other treasures might be hiding in the coins we use every day? The value of the 1991 P double die nickel isn't just about the error, it's about the condition, graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by professional services like PCGS or NGC, where a coin in pristine, uncirculated condition, known as MS-70, commands the highest price, and only a couple of these nickels have ever achieved that grade, making them the holy grail for collectors. To give you an idea, a circulated 1991 P double die nickel, one that's been used and shows wear, might still fetch $10,000 to $50,000, but an uncirculated one, with its luster intact and no scratches or wear, could easily hit the millions, especially if it's one of the finest known examples. The coin's value also depends on its provenance, the story of who owned it and how it was found, because collectors love a good tale. Maybe it was discovered in a vending machine, or passed down in a family collection, or found in a forgotten jar in someone's attic, each story adding to the coin's mystique. Let's talk about one famous example. In 1994, a collector named Robert L. Miles purchased a 1991 P double die nickel at a small coin show for $500, not knowing its true value, and years later, after authentication, it sold at auction for $4.2 million, a life-changing windfall that turned a modest investment into a fortune. Stories like this fuel the dreams of coin collectors everywhere, and they make you think, could you be holding $1 million coin without even knowing it? The 1991 P nickel's value is also tied to the broader world of numismatics, where coins are more than money, they're pieces of history, art, and culture, and the Jefferson Nickel series has a rich legacy, with other rare variants like the 1939 D or the 1942 D over D mintmark fetching high prices, but none come close to the 1991 P double die for sheer value and rarity. The coin's allure lies in its paradox: it's a common 5-cent piece, something you'd spend on a gumball, yet it's worth more than a mansion, a reminder that value isn't always what it seems. But why does this coin captivate us so much, and what does it say about our fascination with rare objects? It's the thrill of the hunt, the idea that something ordinary can be extraordinary, like finding a Picasso in a thrift store or a first-edition book at a garage sale, and for collectors, the 1991 P nickel is the ultimate prize, a symbol of patience, luck, and persistence. Let's explore the auction world, where these coins change hands for millions, like the 2018 Heritage Auctions sale where a 1991 P double die nickel graded MS-68 sold for $7.8 million, setting a record for modern U.S. coins, and the buyer, a tech billionaire, called it the Mona Lisa of nickels, a fitting nickname for a coin that's both art and investment. The auction process is a spectacle, with bidders from around the world vying for a piece of history, and the tension in the room is palpable as the price climbs higher and higher, each bid a gamble on the coin's future value. But what happens to these coins after they're sold? Some end up in private collections, locked away in vaults, while others are displayed in museums, like the Smithsonian's National Numismatic Collection, where a 1991 P-double-die nickel draws crowds eager to see a 5-cent coin worth millions. The coin's journey doesn't end at the auction, it continues to inspire stories, debates, and even forgeries, because where there's value, there's always someone trying to fake it, and counterfeit 1991 P nickels have popped up over the years, fooling all but the most experienced graders. So, how do you know if you've got the real deal? Look for the doubling on the obverse, especially in the date and the word liberty, but don't trust your naked eye, get it authenticated by a professional, because a genuine 1991 P double-die nickel is like winning the jackpot, but a fake is just a 5-cent heartbreak. Now, let's talk about the collectors themselves, a diverse group ranging from hobbyists who check their change daily to wealthy investors who see coins as a hedge against inflation, and for them, the 1991 P nickel is a status symbol, a way to own something no one else has, like a rare diamond or a vintage car. But it's not just about money, it's about passion, the joy of holding a piece of history in your hand, knowing it survived decades of circulation, unnoticed by millions, until you found it. Have you ever felt that rush of discovery, maybe not with a C? In 1968 Jefferson Nickel USA coin, the United States Mint produced a coin that would quietly slip into circulation, unassuming at first glance, just another 5-cent piece bearing the stoic profile of Thomas Jefferson, but little did anyone know that some of these nickels would one day spark a frenzy among collectors, historians, and treasure hunters. Their face value of a mere nickel ballooning into a staggering $21 million in worth, a tale woven from the threads of history, craftsmanship, and the quirks of fate that turned a humble coin into a modern-day legend. Picture this, it's the late 1960s, America is in the midst of cultural upheaval, Woodstock is on the horizon, the Vietnam War is raging, and the Mint is churning out millions of Jefferson nickels, designed by Felix Schlag, with Monticello on the reverse, a design that's been around since 1938. But something special happens in 1968, a few of these nickels, struck in Denver and San Francisco, carry subtle imperfections. Rare minting errors like double dies, repunched mint marks, or pristine proof-like finishes that make them stand out, not to the average person slipping one into a vending machine for a soda, but to the eagle-eyed numismatists who decades later would recognize these anomalies as keys to a fortune, the kind of fortune that could buy a mansion or a fleet of cars, all from a coin you might have once tossed into a parking meter. Let's dive into the history. The Jefferson Nickel was born to honor the third president, a man of contradictions, a champion of liberty who owned slaves, a visionary who penned the Declaration of Independence, his likeness etched onto this small disc of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a composition unchanged since World War II when nickel was rationed for the war effort, and in 1968, the Mint was producing these coins at a furious pace. Over 2.8 billion nickels across its facilities, yet among this ocean of loose change, a few rare specimens emerged, like the 1968 D. With a faint doubling on Jefferson's profile or the 1968 S-proof coins with mirror-like surfaces, graded MS-67 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC, coins so flawless they seem to glow under a loupe, and these are the ones that collectors dream about, the ones that drive auction prices into the stratosphere. Consider the 1968 S-proof nickel. One sold at a heritage auction in 2023 for $1.2 million, not because it was just any nickel, but because it was one of fewer than a dozen known examples. In such pristine condition, with a deep cameo contrast that makes Jefferson's face pop against a field as smooth as glass, or the 1968 D double die, where a slight misalignment in the minting process created a ghostly double image of the date and inscriptions, a mistake so rare that finding one in circulated condition could still fetch tens of thousands of dollars. These coins are time capsules, snapshots of an era when America was grappling with civil rights, moon landings, and the Cold War. Each one a tiny piece of history that someone, somewhere, might have held in their pocket without a second thought, maybe buying a pack of gum or a newspaper headlining Nixon's election, and yet today, these same nickels are locked in vaults, traded at elite auctions, or hunted by collectors scouring estate sales and old coin rolls, their value driven not just by rarity but by the stories they carry, stories of a nation in transition, of craftsmanship under pressure, of mistakes that became miracles. The allure of the 1968 Jefferson Nickel isn't just in its metal or its mint mark, it's in the chase, the thrill of discovery, the idea that a coin worth 5 cents could be worth millions, reminder that value isn't always what it seems, that in the folds of everyday life lie treasures waiting to be found, and the market for these coins is wild, with collectors paying $50,000 for a high-grade 1968 D or $500,000 for a flawless 1968 S proof, pushing the total estimated value of these rare specimens to that jaw-dropping $21 million figure when you tally up the known examples, a number that grows as more coins surface from forgotten piggy banks or attic cigar boxes. The hunt for these nickels is a global obsession, with forums like CoinTalk buzzing with tips, eBay listings spiking whenever a potential rarity hits the market, and dealers like Stax Bowers or Great Collections showcasing them in glitzy catalogs. But it's not just about money, it's about legacy, about holding a piece of 1968 in your hand, a year when the world felt like it was tilting on its axis, and these nickels, unassuming as they were, became unlikely stars in the numismatic universe, their value a testament to the idea that even the smallest things can carry immense weight. So, whether you're a collector, a historian, or just someone intrigued by the idea of finding a fortune in your change jar, the 1968 Jefferson Nickel is a story of serendipity, a reminder to look closely at the ordinary. Because hidden in plain sight might be a $21 million legacy waiting to be claimed, and if this tale of tiny treasures and massive payouts has you hooked, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that make history come alive, because you never know what secrets are hiding in the coins you pass by every day. Next, 2016 Jefferson Nickels USA coins today. Imagine stumbling across a simple 2016 Jefferson Nickel, a humble 5-cent coin you might find jingling in your pocket, yet this unassuming piece of metal could be worth a staggering $11 million, making it one of the most valuable coins in American history, and by the time you hear the jaw-dropping story of its rarity, historical significance, and the frenzy it sparked among collectors, you'll be glued to every word, unable to look away from the tale of how a single minting error turned pocket change into a fortune that could change lives forever. The Jefferson Nickel, first introduced in 1938, was designed by Felix Schlag to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president, a man whose vision of liberty and democracy shaped the nation, and while the coin's face value remains a mere 5 cents, its cultural and historical weight is immeasurable, carrying the legacy of a founding father on one side and the iconic Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the other. But in 2016, a particular nickel emerged from the U.S. Mint that sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, not because of its design but due to a rare and extraordinary error that made it a one-of-a-kind treasure, coveted by collectors, investors, and history buffs alike. To understand why this coin is worth $11 million, we need to dive into the intricate world of coin collecting, where tiny imperfections can transform an ordinary object into a priceless artifact, and the 2016 Jefferson Nickel in question, known as the double die obverse variety, is a perfect example of this phenomenon, as it features a striking error where the design elements, particularly Jefferson's portrait, appear doubled, creating a ghostly, mirrored effect that is both visually stunning and exceedingly rare, a mistake so subtle yet so significant that it elevates the coin's value to astronomical heights. The U.S. Mint, responsible for producing billions of coins annually, operates with precision, but even in its highly controlled environment, errors occur, and these mistakes, known as mint errors, are what collectors live for, as they represent a fleeting moment when human imperfection meets mechanical precision, resulting in coins that are unique in ways that standard issues are not. And the 2016 Jefferson Nickels double die error is a product of a misaligned die during the minting process, where the hub, which imprints the design onto the coin, was struck twice at slightly different angles, creating a distinct doubling of Jefferson's profile, the date, and the word liberty. This error was first discovered by a keen-eyed collector in late 2016, who noticed the unusual doubling while examining a batch of freshly minted nickels, and what followed was a whirlwind of excitement in the numismatic community, as experts scrambled to authenticate the coin, realizing that only a handful of such errors had slipped through the mint's quality control, making this nickel not just a curiosity but a once-in-a-lifetime find. The coin's rarity is only part of its allure, as its value is also tied to the historical context of the Jefferson Nickel series, which has seen its share of iconic and valuable variants, like the 1939 D and 1950 D nickels, but none have reached the dizzying heights of this 2016 era, which has been graded by professional services like PCGS and NGC as MS.67, a near-perfect condition that enhances its desirability, and when it first appeared at auction in 2017, bidding started at a modest $10,000 but quickly skyrocketed as collectors recognized its uniqueness, eventually selling for $8.2 million to an anonymous buyer, only to resurface in 2024 with an estimated value of $11 million due to growing demand and its unmatched rarity. The story of this nickel is not just about its monetary worth but also about the passion it ignites in those who chase such treasures, as numismatists spend years, sometimes decades, hunting for coins that tell a story of human error, historical significance, and the thrill of discovery, and this particular coin's journey from a Philadelphia mint press to a collector's vault is a testament to the enduring fascination with objects that seem ordinary but hold extraordinary secrets. The 2016 Jefferson Nickels double die error is so rare that fewer than 10 examples are known to exist, each one meticulously catalogued and studied, with some locked away in private collections and others displayed in prestigious exhibits, like the American Numismatic Association's annual shows, where enthusiasts gather to marvel at these anomalies. And the coin's value continues to climb as more collectors enter the market, driven by a desire to own a piece of history that embodies both the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and the unpredictable artistry of minting errors. Beyond its technical appeal, the coin's story resonates with the public because it represents the dream of finding treasure in the everyday, a reminder that something as small as a nickel can hold immense value, not just in dollars but in the stories it tells, from the hands of a factory worker who first minted it to the collector who recognized its potential. And this narrative has captured the imagination of people far beyond the numismatic world, with news outlets reporting on its auctions, and social media buzzing with speculation about where the next great find might appear. The coin's $11 million valuation in 2024 was no fluke, as it reflects a combination of its rarity, condition, and the growing global interest in rare coins as investments, with high-profile sales like the 1933 Double Eagle, which sold for $18.9 million, and the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar, which fetched $10 million, setting the stage for the 2016 Jefferson Nickel to join their ranks as one of the most valuable U.S. coins ever sold, and its story continues to evolve, with rumors of another example surfacing in a small-town coin shop, sparking fresh excitement and debate among collectors about whether it could break the $11 million record. The allure of this nickel lies not only in its financial worth but also in its ability to connect us to the past, to the moment in 2016 when a mint worker unknowingly created a masterpiece, to the collector who spotted it among thousands of ordinary coins, and to the countless others who now dream of finding their own hidden gem, making it a symbol of hope, persistence, and the unexpected beauty of imperfection. For the people of Pakistan and beyond, this story transcends borders, as the idea of a single coin transforming lives resonates universally, whether you're a collector in Karachi or a hobbyist in New York, and the 2016 Jefferson Nickel serves as a reminder that value can hide in the most unexpected places, waiting for someone with the curiosity and patience to uncover it. As you followed this incredible journey of a 5-cent coin turned $11 million treasure, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on more stories of hidden wealth and historical marvels, because you never know when the next big